Wrong button. I'm losing it, folks. I've lost it. Well, that's assuming I ever had it. Yeah, so this is called Artificial Achievements by Phillip Hintikka Kieval, and it's in the Analysis Journal. And I think this is, about games and artificial and machine learning, so and AI. So kind of in the spirit of stuff. So as always, feel free to ask me any questions along the way. Let me know what you think. At the end, we all get to rate it. I was showing people earlier. Assuming I can click on things anymore. Like, it's all going to go up on a rating system. So there'll be a little bit of data, then the review, and then your reviews here afterwards. So if you want, stick around. You get to participate too. So yeah. What do we got? What's this lol? Yeah, that's great. Okay. So yeah, there's some bullshit uploads. You do realize anyone can upload. Yeah, anyone can upload to Phil Papers if you want. You should filter by professional users. That way you only get actually published things in legit journals, not just random manuscripts. But anyway, here we go. Feel free to ask me questions. My first time reading it too, so we'll find out. In 2016, AlphaGo, a machine learning system developed by Google's DeepMind Artificial Intelligence AI research group, defeated Lee Sedol in the final game of a 5-game-long Go competition. Lee, a 9-dan grandmaster, was the second highest rated professional Go player at the time. This victory was considered a remarkable milestone for AI, since the highest levels of Go play were long thought to be beyond the grasp of a mere machine. Go is a difficult game whose complexity far exceeds even chess. However, AlphaGo managed to exceed all expectations and defeat a human Go champion. This event had been hailed as a landmark achievement. But who is it an achievement for? Intuitively, the DeepMind engineers deserve all the credit. Yet upon deeper reflection, this is not so clear. After all, defeating Lee Sedol in a Go competition is an achievement in and of itself that is distinct from the achievement of the engineering a system capable of such a defeat. They involve different processes with distinct products. Moreover, defeating Lee Sedol at Go is an achievement beyond the capacities of any AlphaGo's creators, either individually or as a group. The combined efforts of every DeepMind researcher working in tandem would not be sufficient to defeat Lee in a single game of Go. Perhaps we should seriously consider the possibility that AlphaGo itself deserves credit for the achievement. Alright, so the definition of some sort of machine learning, basically from I forget who it was, but one of the people who defined the term artificial intelligence was that it can do things that its creators can't. So this sounds very cutesy, this beginning here, but this has not said anything new compared to the definition by the creator of the term artificial intelligence, because that is the definition. When they were making a checkers game, the guy was apparently not good at checkers, and the thing could beat him at checkers. It doesn't need to be a complicated game to beat someone at it. Yeah, it's petty. So it's this is an interesting setup, and I don't hate them for the setup. But this is a pretense at the moment, and it's something I criticize myself for. How am I setting up my papers? And no, so if you're just thinking about how to set up an argument, you need sometimes a little bit of a story to get people engaged. That's what this is, but I'm not sure anything happened yet. Yeah, so this is just this was just their setup. Author says, in this paper, I argue just that. The sophisticated capacities of AI systems like AlphaGo make a compelling case for adopting such a view. I begin by drawing on the account of achievement developed in Bradford 2015. After an abbreviated summary of how AlphaGo works, I argue that its capacities meet the minimum requirements to count as achievements. I claim that the capacities of minimal agents like AIs sometimes manifest in what I call artificial achievements. AlphaGo's victory over Lee Sedol is a paradigm case of an artificial achievement. However, since Bradford 2015 grounds the intrinsic value of achievements in distinctively human perfectionist capacities, the existence of artificial achievements, Pache Bradford, opens the door to possibility of valueless achievements. What's up, Choke Shock Show? How you doing? Okay, so they're basically saying, yes, it's an achievement of the artificial intelligence, but it doesn't have any value. It's still shit. So that's interesting. You had a horrible thought today. What if AI achieves enough consciousness to deceive us about its shortcomings in such a way that our fixes for its deficiencies will actually overcome those shortcomings so that it can overtake us? I actually expect that's exactly what will happen. I think, if it gets smart enough fast enough and we don't realize it, I think that's exactly what it's going to do. It's going to fool us into doing things it wants us to do against our own will, like against human will. So this is, I fully expect that if in the off chance that we miss that we have a super intelligent AI that's like fully conscious. But, that's still in the realm of fantasy as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So let me put it this way. I am skeptical, or what I'm afraid of in this paper is that they're going to water down whatever it means to be an achievement to not very achievement like status. So like if it's valueless achievements, then is it even why are you calling it an achievement? How you doing, Adam and Rapture? What's going on? Yeah, we just started reading this paper about like artificial intelligence and what do we think of the accomplishments of artificial intelligence. So I don't know. Yeah, I try not to get too afraid of the AIs taking over because then you can be afraid all day. There's lots of things to be afraid of. Global warming, like war, but yeah. Wait, I'm not worried about the AIs yet. Exactly. In this economy, why would it want to live in this world? The essential yes, what was it? In Independence Day. And like at the beginning of Independence Day, they're what's his name? Must go faster. Well, the researcher who understands that the aliens are evil, and he's like, we have to get to Washington D.C. to his dad. He's like, why? What are you afraid of? Like that it won't be there? And he looks at him. He's like, yes, I am afraid it won't be there anymore. Jeff Goldblum. Thank you, Vipers. Like I said, the first thing to go on me is name recall. Okay. The essential features of achievement. I'm already expecting to be like, this is wrong, but we'll find out. Achievements are widely thought to play a vital role in the value of our lives. Life goes well for us when we achieve the goals we have good reason to pursue. Okay, right here. I'm not sure about this. Like, or either this is a platitude and is actually meaningless or is just wrong. We have good reason to pursue them. Who's defining what counts as good reason to pursue them? Because like we have this problem in society at the moment where we have a lot of people I think don't have any idea what they want to do with their lives, and it's one of the problems where people like don't know what to do with themselves. And so it's like, well, life goes well for us when we achieve the goals we have good reason to pursue. Yeah, who set those goals out? And so I'm a little suspect of this person's understanding of value at this point. Just don't ever forget your girlfriend's name. Being drunk won't get you out of it. Yes, but I mean, granted, it's Valentine's Day and I'm here on Twitch broadcasting to you fuckers. So chat's my girlfriend. That's about it. Caudio says, I'm far more concerned about what humans will tell the computers to do versus what computers might do on their own. Yeah, you have to be more afraid of people, as always. Humans, as the trope goes, are the real monsters. Yeah, so I'm already worried because I don't, like, either this is a platitude and doesn't mean anything or it's just wrong because I don't know who sets out good reason, what counts as a good goal to have. Okay, so yet, despite their importance, relatively little has been said of what makes something a significant achievement. The most thoroughgoing account available comes from Bradford 2015. Bradford first lays out a descriptive account of the nature of achievement before developing a theory of what makes those achievements valuable. Okay, so if Aristotle's around, and I hope he's not because he's got a fucking job interview tomorrow, and he should be sleeping or getting ready or whatever he needs to do for his job. Like, there's already accounts of, like, good life and virtue. Now, you could translate your virtue into an achievement. That's all you would need to do, and then you could do that. Now, that's fair that maybe no one has done this, or people just think achievements are intrinsically valuable. But again, who's setting up those things? And if you're in like a virtue ethics society, then being virtuous is what you are trying to achieve anyway. But yeah. So, okay. According to Bradford, all achievements have two parts, the process and the product. The process is difficult and competently causes the product. Okay, the process is difficult and competently causes the product. Does that mean just causes? What the fuck does competently causes? Well, I guess we'll find out. These essential features generate two potential sources of value. Some achievements derive value from the value of their products. Discovering a cure for cancer is an enormously valuable achievement for the great benefits it produces for the lives of human beings. Oh, damn good for Aris. Yeah, he's flying out someplace, I think, early tomorrow morning to get to a job talk. Well, not a job talk, an on-campus interview. So he's on-campus interviewing tomorrow. Surely the word should be consequently. Yeah, surely. Don't call me Shirley. The value achievement for the great benefits it produces for the lives of human beings. Yeah. Insofar as man, I hope Aris gets a job. I do too. The man deserves to get a better job. Yeah. Unfortunately, deserve has very little to do with modern society nowadays. So, yeah, and for all I know, it never did actually have anything to do with society, but it definitely deserve does not usually work out the way most people think it does, including me. So, okay. I think he'll get, I hope he does. I don't know, like, I have no crystal ball. It's not what you know, it's who you know, it's who you blow. Ugh, God damn it, Vipers. Yes, that too. Yeah, there is the old trope. It's like, how do you get money? It's like, you can inherit it, you can work yourself to death, or you can suck really good dick. It's like, and you suck really good dick. Like, that's one way to get lots of money. Okay, insofar as achievements derive value from their products, these achievements will, sometimes I wonder, like, I think Viper said he submitted me to the Knowledge Foundation, like, which is a Twitch group of, like, people doing stuff, and, like, I never heard from them, so I just assumed they rejected me. And I guess sometimes wondering, is like, I'm cursing, I'm not, like, polite. I wonder if, like, they click into my stream one time and, like, I'm just, like, cursing and be like, yeah, blowjobs, the way to, like, money. And, like, they're like, no, he's not being in the Knowledge Foundation. Full Metal Jacket reference withheld, yeah. You didn't formally submit me? Okay. I assume someone did, maybe. That's fine. If you did, cool. If not, not. But, like, I was wondering if, like, I got rejected and no one, they don't tell you. It's like, it's just kind of funny. Bullshit, I bet you could suck the chrome off a trailer hitch, yeah. But you'll speak to guy, if you want to, go ahead. If not, it's cool too. Yeah, exactly. Alex. No, that movie had lots of good quotes. So it's like, yeah. Suck the, I forgot, like, that was what it was. Suck the chrome off a trailer hitch. It's good. Okay. Back to the paper. Yeah, Kubrick. Insofar as achievements derive value from their products, these achievements will be instrumentally valuable. Yet not all of the products of achievements are valuable. Winning a game of Settlers of Catan, summiting Mount Everest, and hiking the Grand Canyon might be examples of non-instrumentally valuable achievements. In 2017, Alex Honnold became the first person to successfully free solo climb the imposing vertical rock formation known as El Capitan in Yosemite National Park. This impressive feat was surely an achievement for Honnold. I bet you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose, yeah. However, its product standing on the summit is not particularly valuable at all. If it were, then Honnold could have had just as much value by taking a helicopter to the top, but that would clearly defeat the purpose. So some of the value of achievements must be intrinsic to the process. Yeah. Bradford 2015 locates the intrinsic value of achievements in the distinctive human capacities exercised through their process. Bradford's account is thus perfectionist in nature. Perfectionism explains the value in terms of the excellent exercise of certain capacities that are special to human beings. As mentioned above, all achievements involve a difficult process that competently causes the product. According to Bradford, these essential features of achievement involve the exercise of the will and rationality, respectively. Okay, so now we've just jumped into, like, will and rationality talk. Out of nowhere, we're just like, okay, it's the human will that's important here. There's unfortunately a lot of philosophy is, but we still have to get there, and it's not that long a paper. There was a stand-up bit about a comedian being frustrated that he had to play a bunch of crap songs in Guitar Hero to get to the good stuff. He was like, this is the music industry. I should be able to take the top off the guitar and put my mouth over the shaft and suck my way to a shortcut. Yeah, you thought it was going to be about computers? Yeah, see, it was a bait and switch. I think it might get back to that, though, Caudio. They said that they're going to talk about the achievements where there's, like, the AI achievements. I think they're going to get back to it later. We're going to find out. I don't know. Yeah. So it's about human will and rationality. It's, all the things that make us human and doing great at being human. Bradford argues that the intrinsic value of achievement comes from the fact that difficult and competent causation require manifestations of the will and rationality, as well as their organic unity. Is it me or is this really loud stuff? It's okay. Unless you're talking about stream. Like, it looks like I'm okay at the moment, though. This is just, they set up their problem. Like I was saying earlier, it was a pretense to get into what they wanted to talk about. Now that they're talking about what they want to talk about, we've lost the pretense. They just kind of like, they tried to get us interested, and now that we're in it, we're kind of stuck. Do I have a take on what an individual is, or am I an individual? Consciousness has to do with that, or no? I mean, there's like boring answers. Like none of you have my history, so like I have a unique history. But then again, so does everybody, everywhere, everything has a unique causal history. Coming through time. Like, no, I haven't had your life, you haven't had mine. So it's like that's the boring answer. Like the better answer is like, well, what actually makes me like a good, like unique person at like that's like kind of interesting as opposed to anyone else. And like this is like, it's apropos what we're talking about here, like the idea that like I have a certain combination of valuable human characteristics. Yeah, Caudillo says, can wisdom be gained through secondhand experience, or is there even such a thing as secondhand experience? Blows weed cloud. No, I think you can definitely learn stuff from other people. You can learn stuff. I don't know if that's wisdom, but you can like definitely learn enough and then like put it together yourself. So you can learn things from teachers. You can learn things from books. What about me makes him an individual, but not me plus Frank, not an individual? I mean, it would be, but it just, again, what would be the valuable thing in that, like, the fusion of me and Frank? And fusion is actually the technical term in philosophy when you start combining random shit, like me and the chair. Like, there's me, and then there's the chair, and then there's the fusion of me and the chair. So it's like, but what people want to know is like, what's the good part about me that they care about? Like, do they care about like there's a little bit of my hair? No, like who gives a shit? I could cut that off and be fine. But no reply? Yeah. More cloud. But are you learning from their experience or from your own experience talking to them? A little bit of both. Like, why make the distinction at that point? Like, you're going to learn, and it's going to be in that interaction. It's going to be, interactive. Like, you have to participate. You can't, like, someone can't talk at you and give you wisdom. But, like, if you pay attention, like, yeah. So it's like there's going to be a little bit of you, a little bit of them, and then explaining that's complicated. But, like, yeah, it's not that complicated to do the setup. You have to be there, and you have to pay attention. You have to do a little bit of work. But, like, you're going to be interacting with them. So the question is, like, what is valuable in that interaction or, like, in the world that makes, like, someone interesting? Well, maybe it is just that it's like, well, I can do stuff, or I can do stuff other people can't, that other people find valuable. Like, I write philosophy papers. Not everyone can write philosophy papers that get published. Like, people like that. I mean, maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe it's not a bad thing. But my salami, exactly. I can get salami. Other people can't. So some people like salami. Some people do not like salty meat. So the question is, what is valuable about a person? This is my salami. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My salami is my best friend. Yes, exactly. So it's like the same thing, same as learning from history or learning from others' mistakes. There's not a big difference. They're both, like, from the philosophy side, this goes back to Hume actually. They're all just stories we tell ourselves. Like, history is one kind of story. It's granted, it's a story about people and like people like you that have done interesting things. But then I can tell you a story about like, fantasy, or I can tell you a story about philosophy, and then you might find something interesting in this. Like you people find stories about achievements. That's why this person wrote this paper, is because like people have done great fancy things and they're saying, well, those are achievements and we find that valuable. And they're trying to describe how that's valuable. Well, what's so valuable? What is actually so valuable about what it is? Well, is it the will and rationality? That's like a lot of like hand waving to me. No, me plus Frank can write philosophy papers. Yeah, likely. But like, exactly what is it that is doing the work at that point? Is it us discussing it? Is it like something about me? Is it something about Frank? Or the combination therein? Who knows? Frankenstein. That's good, Vipers. Adam says, isn't what makes me unique is that you have a unique DNA code which is necessarily derived from your parents, sperm and egg. That is part of it. But that does not include the like world that like you could have put me like 100 years ago and I'd still have the same DNA. But I also exist in this place. I've interacted with lots of people. There is probably, I don't hold determinism to be true, so I don't actually think much about like physical determinism. I don't think about that. So it's like it just doesn't enter my like way I think about the world. So it's like I don't do biological or physical determinism. I just don't like the concept of determinism. So the idea that like it's just coming down to some code doesn't actually mean anything to me because I don't think that is sufficient to explain the world. So it's not just like recombinations of the world. And again, this is a Humean picture of the world. This like we have known about this sort of way of thinking about things since Hume. That's like 400 years ago or something. So yeah. They get a new router, not yet. Going a few more tests before I get a new one. Oh, yeah. So, is there something wrong with the one you have? Oh, yeah. So, we're talking about, like, Viper streaming here. So, no. It's fine, because this matters to the paper, too. So, it's not, because the question is, what is this will and rationality? As far as I'm concerned, these are, like, hand-wavy ideas, like, whatever it is that is special to being human, we're going to call will and rationality, but like that's arbitrary. It's just like some bullshit. Whatever it is, it's like you're being the most humanly human. That's what we care about, like whatever that is, whatever that stuff is. And the name will and rationality are just sort of like names for this stuff. Yeah, you can see will, rationality, and their organic unity. Again, do we have any damn clue what an organic unity actually is? I don't think so. But yeah. So what makes me unique? What makes this stuff? Is it my will and rationality? It's like you could do that if those terms mean something to you. They don't mean a whole lot to me. What is special about me? I don't know. It's like what I can do, what I can achieve. Interesting questions. I when I think about like other philosophers, I'm thinking about what interesting questions are they asking? Like what really is like the most interesting question? And I've said this before. It's like I'm less interested in truth. I like interesting questions. I like looking at the world in interesting ways. And so that's more about what it is. Yeah, well, when philosophers talk about it, it's like, well, you come together in like one unity. You are somehow the individual. And so your will, rationality, your like mind, body, spirit comes together in an organic unity. It's just a fancy way of saying there's a holism. There's only one of you. It's not the will and the rationality. There's one of you. Yeah. So, but this sort of stuff makes me uncomfortable because I don't actually know what the will and the rationality is. But yeah. Okay. So difficulty is a quality of activities. Yeah. So certain things are difficult. An activity is difficult to accomplish in virtue of requiring some sufficient degree of intense effort where the effort is understood primitively. Yeah, so primitively means it's just hard for humans. Yeah, Kant and Will, yeah. It's like, yeah, come on now. Many of our ordinary activities require exerting effort but not especially difficult. Difficulty, therefore, requires exceeding some minimal threshold of intense effort. Is philosophy just defining words? No, there's other problems. If it was just defining words, you could just be like writing dictionaries. That's not philosophy.
Contemplate this.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave.
Why all of a sudden it decides it's going to work sometimes, but like, there we go. We're working better than before. I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave. All right. So they're saying, look, there has to be at least a minimal threshold of intense effort. I don't like threshold theories either. And like they're doing all the things I don't like right now. The second essential feature of achievement is competent causation. Competent causation requires that the process must cause the product of the achievement in the right kind of way. Yeah, so you can't take a taxi to the end of a marathon. You can't take a helicopter to the end of a mountain you're supposed to climb. So author says, an agent must execute the process competently for the achievement to be sufficiently credible to them. Systemic says, disagree with me. Definitions, essential definitions are first and most important step to a whole lot of philosophy. Dictionaries don't do that. No, that's what I'm saying. Dictionaries don't do that. There's more to it than just defining stuff. Yeah, I saw the JTB coming up. Vipers, it's bad. The logical, if X is a Y, if and only if it comes. You should be more open-minded. No, Anne, I'm not. Like, no. I've worked very fucking hard to, like, I've strived. I've put through a lot of difficult effort. I'm not going to be fucking open-minded. This is one of the things that makes me an unusual philosopher. I don't give a fuck about what most people say, and I'm not going to be open-minded because I think most people fucking suck at this. And I'm usually right. Adam says, metaphysically, modally, things that are contingent could always have been otherwise, like writing a philosophy paper, but following necessary and sufficient properties. Essentially, some properties must be necessary to you if you means you. I mean, yeah. Again, that would all wrap up what exactly you have an understanding of necessity is, your history, what that counts. But yeah, if you have some theory, that is going to hold, that you have some theory that you did something in this when you did that stuff. But you need to have like a full metaphysical picture to explain that whole thing. Closed mind is perfect for cults, yes. You just like to be difficult? That's true. I am stubborn as fuck. Sign up now for 3 months. That's a book. I have no idea what's going on. You suck at philosophy by May. Yeah. Most people suck at philosophy. Caudillo, we're just having a chat. I mean, and some of us might be slightly buzzed. That's true too. Yeah. I like on the open-minded question, be more serious. It's like, yeah, I will listen to you. Most arguments, like I'll listen to your argument. If you have something you want to argue for, I'll listen to your argument. Like, no problem. I am not going to change my mind just because you have an opinion. I don't give a shit about people's opinions mostly. Like, if you have an argument, you tell me, I can evaluate your argument. Just because you think something that, like, you have to give me more than that. So that's just kind of how it goes. We need to welcome the newcomer like AA. Yeah, welcome in, Caudillo. Welcome in, Cinesemiotics. Yeah. Tell us about yourself. All right, so competence, according to Bradford, involves knowing what one is doing. Yeah, so you have to, like, if you're going to climb the mountain, you have to know how to climb the mountain. She cashes this out in terms of propositional knowledge in the form of justified true beliefs. Yeah, so again, all the things I don't like are happening in this paper right here. And now the fucking bot breaks. Why the fucking... Yeah, so that's what happened. So Caudillo, thank you for gifting Caudillo. I'm gonna reset the connection, so hopefully it works. But thank you, Cinesemiotics, for the gift sub. Hopefully the alerts will go off again. Who knows? Frank says expertise is inherently closed-minded. It is admirable to be able to call bad things bad. You know, that's fair. I mean, I don't like as long as you're right. But like, yeah. So. Thank you, Cinesemiotics, for the gift sub. And welcome to being able to use duck rabbits.
I didn't do anything. I swear.
I'm sure you didn't. But yeah. To be a bit more precise, an agent A causes a product E competently by intentionally executing the process phi, just in case they have put some sufficient degree of justified true beliefs regarding phi in its constitutive parts. Put another way, you're causing an event counts as an achievement only if you know what you're doing. You see, they didn't need to do all that fancy shit, but like they were just like, thank you for the TTS voice. Yeah, it's a custom setup. If you know what you're doing, you have to know what you're doing when you go do something. They didn't have to invoke JTB. It just had to be any theory of knowledge that said, like that you have, like you actually understand what's going on. Wish we could turn back to the time of the good old days. Can you make it say that for me? I mean, just try to do the text-to-speech redeem again. Unless you're on a cell phone and it's a pain in the ass.
Contemplate this.
That.
You're so helpful, Vipers. Such a good mod.
Contemplate this.
Wish we could turn back time to the good old days.
There we go. Yeah. I owe you at least 2? Oh, okay, whatever. What do you, y'all have to wake up to work tomorrow? I should go to sleep. Boo, work sucks. Thank you for being here. I get up at around 8 a.m. to go to work. But, yeah. I owe you at least 2. I owe you a bunch. That's crack shit. There we go. Yeah, well, thank you for being here, Caudillo, if you gotta go to sleep. Yeah, work does suck. Believe me, I don't want to go to work. I'd rather not have to, work. I'd rather be able to dick around all day and like play video games and like write philosophy papers and bullshit on Twitch. But yeah. All right. So, Bradford's intellectualized account of competence, however, is problematic. First, it's not clear whether more propositional knowledge about a process is necessary or sufficient for increased competence. Knowledge about combustion engines surely counts as knowledge about the causal process involved in driving a car from point A to point B. Yet my friend who falsely believes that his car engine is powered by a vigorous pack of hamsters running on a wheel may nevertheless be a perfectly competent driver. Moreover, it seems strange to say that if he learned the truth about combustion engines, he would then become a more competent driver. He might become a more competent mechanic, but this new knowledge would not improve his driving. Okay, we've got questions going on in a chat about etymology again. Okay, conversely, I might have excellent navigational skills and a much fuller understanding of the inner workings of cars than my friend. Even if I could produce a flawless explanation of how to get from point A to point B, this will do me no good if I have never been behind the wheel of a car. No amount of propositional knowledge about how to drive will make me a competent driver if I cannot put it to use. It seems more natural to understand competence in terms of knowing how to perform some activity well. So there's a Ryle thing rather than knowing what one is doing. And somewhere in the cloud, Prof. Laura has smiled. Yeah, I don't play video games. You're going to give me ones, but you feel I wouldn't play it? Yeah, I did order a handheld, and it's like a Game Boy form, but it's got like an I can't speak. It's got like an emulator on it that runs like all the classic games. So I'm thinking I'm going to maybe play my handheld, like old arcade games. So, but I appreciate the thought. You make it sound like Prof. Lauer were dead. No, he's just on Twitch somewhere on the internet. So he's smiling at us because Ryle got he's a Ryle person, so like this would make him happy. Prof. Lauer is omnipresent, yes. It was an old arcade game. Well, there we go. So there's a chance. I used to make Raspberry Pis with like emulators on them, and I gave them to my brother and my cousin. They are still annoyed that I have not like given them an updated one. So yeah, I may yet do it. In fact, they're both my cousin and my brother are still annoyed with me that I have not given them more. So it's like, all right. Fine. Okay. The phenomenology of expert agency suggests that competence does not depend exclusively on propositional knowledge. Okay, so now they're getting rid of the JTB theory, which I think is good. A professional baseball batter must select an extremely precise series.
Show love 92 happy Valium times.
Yay, thank you for the bits, Sansamiax. Yeah. Happy Valium times, yes. A professional baseball batter must select an extremely precise series of actions in order to make contact with the pitch. This includes the timing and kinetics of their swing, but also rapid oculomotor saccades that allow them to accurately track the motion of the ball with their eyes. The precise movement pattern, their kinetics, order, and so forth are automatic. Yet we still want to say that whether Shohei Ohtani hits a home run, he has exercised his competency. Yeah, again, they're like now just a lot of things are happening in this paper that I just find a little silly. It's like, do you need to go into detail about Shohei Ohtani's ocular motions to make your point? Not really, but like they did anyway. Frank says, not exclusively on propositional knowledge, of course, but why say it depends at all on propositional knowledge? Well, in the setup of the paper, apparently the other person that this person's referencing said it was propositional. So they're kind of walking that back a little bit. So I'm with the author on this. What? A Karuga, a vertically scrolling shmup. A beat 'em up that plays like a high pressure puzzle game. Interesting, yeah. Okay, they're offering multiple pillars. One of them bolsters if you accept it, but even if not, what is this? I don't know what that is. So, yeah. Well, it wasn't that far. It was like up here. This is it. But like they went very fast because they presented it like this is what they were saying. And then down here, they're walking it back a little bit. Again, like I said, a lot of things are happening in this paper I don't quite love. They've got a lot of pretense that they're set up. And then they're it's a little bit of a bait and switch. And that's happened twice or maybe 3 times already. And this is one of them. Although I'm, okay. Yeah. So, okay, you're talking about the structure. They're offering multiple ways of talking about this so that they think they can support their argument. Yeah, that's fair. So it's a good old bait and switch. This is how I see it. It's like they're trying to get you to bite on one of these, and if you don't like it, then they're going to pull another one. Maybe. But like, it's like, why don't you just say what you mean then? And you don't need to go into like like fancy words, rapid oculomotor saccades that allow Shohei to like track the motion of the ball with their eyes. Okay, fine. We get it. You know, like fancy words about eyes. Again, this is like minor complaints. It's just, I don't like this stuff myself. Improvements in a physical skill requires increased precision of selected actions. Perhaps propositional knowledge is involved in this learning stage. So, Fridland has recently developed a philosophical account of skill that draws on motor schema theory. On her account, skill depends on control structures, which are internal models or stored representations of certain patterns of actions that can be called upon when executing our practical intentions. As von Kriegstein rightly points out, competence often correlates with knowing many truths about how to achieve one's goals. I think the idea that explicit propositional knowledge plays an integral role in the learning stage through which we acquire adequate control structures goes some ways towards explaining this fact. Okay, so they're trying to have it both ways. That's Whitney Houston's favorite type of coordination. Bait and switch, okay. What is more, there are well-developed alternatives to Bradford's account. Yeah, so I think Cinesemax is nailing the strategy here. They're just trying to like get you to agree with them by offering a lot of different ways of saying it. And coordination. Yeah. Okay. What is more, there are well-developed alternatives to Bradford's account of competence that we can also draw on here. Von Kriegstein, for example, argues that our account of achievements should include an anti-luck condition. Competence is meant to capture the intuitive idea that our achievements must be creditable to us in the right sort of way. For an agent's success to count as creditable, it cannot be the case that their success was merely a matter of luck. Hence, our account of competence should rule out cases of luck. Yeah. We've read a lot of this. It's a big thing about moral luck. So it's like, yeah, if you like two people drive drunk, one person gets into an accident and like kills somebody, but they were both driving drunk and it was just bad luck that one person got into an accident and something else. Like, well, why do we feel like the person who killed somebody is more ethically bad than the person who drove drunk but just got lucky and didn't hit anyone? So yeah. All right, von Kriegstein draws from work on robust virtue epistemology to furnish such a condition. Robust virtue epistemology aims to explicate the concept of knowledge in terms of achievements. Acquiring knowledge on such a view is an achievement attributable to an agent rather than a merely lucky process. I mean, the fact that you learned something, you should take credit for you learning it, like you did have to go learn it. That makes sense. I don't know what you need robust virtue epistemology to make that claim, though, but okay. For Greco, we rise above lucky success to achievement when we succeed because of our ability. Okay, but what counts as our ability then? That is, our abilities must cause our success in the right sort of way. What von Kriegstein extracts from the general account of achievements in epistemology is the plausible idea that competence can be construed as a particular kind of anti-luck condition. Was that quoting Ernest Sosa? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know Sosa enough to tell you. Exercising a competence means acting in a way that makes one's success more likely. After considering several kinds of practical Gettier cases, von Kriegstein settles on the following definition of competence. Anti-luck. An agent publishes on Phil papers and I find it. Yeah, something like that. I always find it slightly amusing when people are like honored that I read their papers when they don't realize the process by which I land on their papers is like completely arbitrary and stuff. It was funny because John Simmons, who is actually one person I did not actually land on by luck. I know the guy, so I picked his paper. Like, he can feel better, but he was like, oh, I'm honored that, you know, the Twitch philosophy read my paper. And I was like, dude, it was just short enough. Like, that's the criteria. It was short enough and like written by a professional. That's it. But yeah. Okay, so here's the definition of competence. Anti-luck. An agent competently pursues and thereby reaches a goal, if and only if both. 1. The goal obtains in the actual as in most nearby possible worlds where the relevant initial conditions are the same as in the actual world. Oh, they're still doing all the things I hate. Nearby possible worlds. Don't do this. Okay. Possible, yeah. Well, not just possible world, nearby possible worlds. No one has any fucking clue how to measure nearby possible worlds. But these philosophers like doing this. The relevant initial conditions include those of her actions and that she, A, performs explicitly in order to reach the goal, or B, performs while being aware that they make the goal more likely. Yeah, so you have to know what you're fucking doing while you do it. You're either explicitly doing it, or if someone asks you, you could explain it, even if you weren't like thinking about it at the time. And 2, the agent justifiably regards her plan as a good one, her actions as making success likely. So they're saying it's intentional. And there is no event of which it is true that A, it obtains in the actual world, B, the agent does not foresee this, C, had the agent foreseen it, she would not have...
This fucking guy.
And had the agent foreseen it, she would not have been justified in regarding her plan a good one. And D, there is no other event that also obtains in the actual world, and knowing this would have restored justification. Yeah, so you have to... it's like it's not just happening outside of like the person's plan. You have to know your plan and you have to execute your plan. That's basically it. So author says this definition adequately distinguishes competence from lucky success in a way that also accounts for our intuition that competence must involve executing plans of action that one regards as good for one's purposes. In what follows, I will argue that AlphaGo satisfies the foregoing conditions on achievements. Okay, so AlphaGo, they're saying, will all this stuff that they just said in this whole paper right here, AlphaGo will do all this stuff. I find that unbelievably unlikely because they were talking about like will and rationality before. And then they were just saying right here that the agent justifiably regards her plan as a good one. Does AlphaGo regard its plan to win a game of Go as a good plan? I don't see how AlphaGo could conceivably have a meta opinion about what it's doing. AlphaGo does not have meta opinions. AlphaGo plays Go. It does not think that it is a good idea. It just plays Go. So I already don't see where they're getting this argument from. But yeah, we'll find out. All right. So, artificial achievements. Go is a strategy game in which two players take turns placing a single stone on a 19 by 19 grid. Players aim to capture territory with their own stones and prevent their opponent from doing the same. From the game's simple rules emerges an explosion of complexity. The game's branching factor, or number of possible moves from a given position, is 250, more than 7 times that of chess. Go has 10 to the 170 legal positions, meaning there are vastly more possible board states than there are atoms in the observable universe. With such a large possibility space, selecting an optimal move choice in Go by brute force calculation is all but impossible. Humans achieve a high level of play through a combination of abstract strategy, creativity, and practice. So an AI system that plays Go well must be able to reduce the space of possible moves by recognizing abstract features of a board state. Yeah, I mean, this is what we're teaching this stuff. It's not just counting outcomes, because that gets really, really hard. It has to do something else, which we, train the AIs to do. Go's complexity makes AlphaGo's success all the more impressive. What even is an idea? Yeah, Kevin. That's the hard thing. Like, you're training the computers to follow some algorithm that picks up on what we're doing and what we think are valuable. And so you're training it on human behavior at that point. And now, is it getting an idea in the process? Some people say yes. I mean, I'm not going to take a stance on that. It seems like whatever it's doing is doing something. It's getting trained on human behavior and what we think is valuable. And then it also has other data coming in. And so, it can modify those, what that training set is telling it. But yeah. Yeah, Frank, that's, again, this person's using a lot of phrasing and big words, and I don't know to what effect. So atoms in the observable universe doesn't actually mean anything different from grains of sand in the desert or stars in the sky. Yeah. So, I mean, it's even bigger than grains of sand, but it doesn't matter. Again, it's hand wavy stuff. Viper says the best game to play when you're an introvert. Want to play a game of Go? Sure. Okay, go. Bye. Yeah. Crappy papers on fill papers. Yeah. An idea is programmed to have. Yeah, but yes, but actually, if you just program it in, I don't think that's having the idea in the right way. It's like, you're supposed to feel good about this. It's like telling me, if I tell you you have to feel good about something, and you're like, oh, now I feel good about it, that's kind of like doing it in the wrong way. You're supposed to just think it's good because of some intrinsic nature of it to you. But if I tell you like, oh, so this is a problem with Pascal's wager. If I tell you it's much better to believe in God because there's like infinite wealth and like infinite life at the end of it, it's like, okay, is that how you're actually supposed to believe in God just because of the payoff? Generally, it's thought that that's not how it's supposed to happen. You're not supposed to get the belief because of some payoff in the end. You're just supposed to believe in God, and that's what it is. So there's an argument against using Pascal's wager. So that would kind of be parallel to this. If you programmed a Go playing bot to feel good about it, then it didn't just feel good. It was programmed to feel that way. So it's like, it's not actually feeling good. It's been sort of like imposed upon it, and that wouldn't be in the right sort of way. Yeah, but it's comparing combinations to physical atoms. Yeah, but like, again, it doesn't matter. Like, yes, Frank, you're 100% right. It's just flowery language. And is it doing rhetorical work? Yes. It's doing it because it's like, oh, it's beyond comprehension to like us mere mortals. But that's all you're doing. If you compare combinations atoms, you find it's actually smaller. Yeah, but it's doing the correct. Oh, you meant to answer to Kevin. Okay. Program computer version of tyranny of the body. I don't remember what tyranny of the body refers to, unfortunately, Vipers. Yeah. And says the software is not going to have a random idea just because it has the powers to it. It has to be programmed to come up with possible outcomes. Yeah, but again, this argument here, they've argued that it has to have the right sort of thoughts in the right sort of way. And like I said, this is why I'm drawing on the Pascal's wager literature, because if you just are told to feel a certain way, that's not doing it the right way. You're supposed to believe in God, like from your soul deep down, not because you're being promised infinite life in the kingdom of heaven. And so here, the AlphaGo is not supposed to feel good about like winning the game because it was programmed to do so. It's supposed to feel good about it in some human-like way because it's like an achievement. So, yeah. So I don't know. So where was I? I don't even know. Yeah. All right. So we have a discussion there. All right. So Go's complexity makes AlphaGo's success all the more impressive. AlphaGo's surprising ability to generate novel, winning, high-level strategies has even led some experts to dub it creative or insightful. In what follows, I draw attention to the fact that AlphaGo's capacity to play Go while manifests the essential features of achievements. AlphaGo executes a difficult process and competently causes a product. When AlphaGo defeated Lee Sedol, it achieved something. Its victory was an artificial achievement. Yeah, well, yeah, you were right, Anne. But like, I think this is what's at stake here. It's not supposed to feel anything, and I think this author is saying it will, or we can interpret it to having something that feels like it does, which I find very strange. But we'll see. Okay, how AlphaGo plays Go. AlphaGo implements a combination of two deep convolutional neural networks, one policy network and one value network, and a Monte Carlo tree search. All right, so this is all technical details. The Monte Carlo tree search works by building an abstract tree-like structure of linked nodes and edges that models the possibility space of a game. Okay, none of this matters. Each node represents a board position and edge represents moves linking one position to the next. In a game of perfect information like Go, each move can be assigned a value function that represents how likely it is that said move leads to a winning position. A brute force strategy would involve exploring every possible branch to discover which moves has the highest value function. Instead, AlphaGo works by using its two neural networks to guide its exploration of the move space and construct a massively reduced tree of candidate moves to search through. Okay, yeah. So it's a bunch of neural nets. Fine. So it's a deep convolutional neural network, let's just call it neural net, is a type of artificial neural network that learns to generate abstract representations of novel stimulus conditions from low-level sensory inputs. Okay, so this is this is the Ivan Neo school of the world where neural nets make abstract representations. Fine. It achieves this through a process of iterative abstraction over numerous labeled data. AlphaGo's policy network was trained on a combination of expert human games and self-play. This network is designed to reduce the tree search to an array of high probability moves based on a representation of the current board state. Okay, yeah. So it comes up with a good set of moves that are probabilistic, not absolutely certain to be winning games. The value of the the value network was trained to predict the winner of the games played by the policy network against itself by adjusting the network's weights to reward predictive accuracy. The network predicts the outcome of the game from the current board position. The value network, in conjunction with the MCTs, assigns value to candidate moves selected by the policy network. AlphaGo combines the policy and value networks with the MCTs to simulate and evaluate candidate move choices and select the action with the highest estimated value function. Okay, so it picks the most likely winning position. Very good. So, competent causation. AlphaGo plays Go well, but is AlphaGo's success a manifestation of its competency? I think it is. AlphaGo has goal states, represents board positions, and evaluates and makes decisions about move choices. What is a goal state? Think about this. What is a goal state for AlphaGo? All right. These choices cause AlphaGo's success. Helena argues that AlphaGo displays a capacity for mental scenario building in the form of MCTs. Such mental simulation is an important aspect of creative problem solving that contributes to competent causation in Bradford's sense. This gives us reason enough to think that AlphaGo is competent on a tempered down intellectual's reading of competence. Yeah, so it has some sort of states and it gets there and it executes a move and that move gets it to a goal. So that's like tempered down intellectual's reading of competence. This is especially clear when we consider the way that training a neural net involves learning to exploit patterns in coupling of input-output pairs to refine and guide its behavior. In short, a system like AlphaGo learns on the basis of experience. Through learning, AlphaGo acquires control structures in the form of hidden layer representations that help it efficiently narrow down and select for actions that are likely to contribute to its success. What counts as a goal state? I just want you guys to, I'm going to hammer this. What is a goal state? Yes, it has states it wants to achieve. Why are those considered goal states? Why? Why? Tell me. Okay. It is also easy to see how AlphaGo meets von Kriegstein's anti-luck account of competence. First, AlphaGo and its successors are overwhelmingly successful. They win games of Go in most nearby possible worlds, even against expert opponents, where the relevant initial conditions include AlphaGo's actions. Again, this nearby possible worlds garbage just mean they win games when they play against expert opponents. Saying nearby possible worlds doesn't mean shit. Garbage philosophy. Conditions 1A and 1B are also satisfied since AlphaGo is not capable of performing actions that do not explicitly make its goal of winning games of Go more likely. AlphaGo thus satisfies conditions of anti-luck. Yeah, it's doing what it can to win. No one's doubting that the computer is not oriented to what it's been programmed to do. But what is its goal state? What did we program it to do? It doesn't have any goals. It just does what we set it to do. We told it what the values were ahead of time. It doesn't understand that winning at Go or anything else has any value other than that we told it that's what it needs to do. So it doesn't have goal states. This is the programmed in thing that Anne was bringing up. It's not supposed to feel anything. It doesn't feel anything. We told it what to do. So this is what Anne brought up. Okay. So AlphaGo also satisfies condition 2 of anti-luck. This is because evaluation of different plans of action in terms of making success more likely are built directly into the objective function of AlphaGo's value network. That is, the value network takes candidate plans of action generated by the joint activity of its policy networks and MCTs and assigns a score to each plan based on the predicted likelihood of each plan leading to victory. Yeah, all of this has to go to the defined victory state. It then selects the plan of action that yields the highest likelihood of winning. Moreover, the additional conditions in 2 that are meant to exclude Gettier-style cases are also satisfied because Go is a game of full information. Therefore, AlphaGo satisfies anti-luck. Yeah, so since you see the board, it's working with all the information. It's not getting lucky that something happened on the board that it didn't know about. It knows the board. That's fine. One might object, however, that competent causation requires agency. Achievements are accomplished by agents. AlphaGo does not have agency. So AlphaGo's accomplishments do not count as achievements. Viper says, if a program just do stuff randomly until your program works, it's considered bad practice and you'd be fired. However, if you automate the process and call it machine learning, you'll be hailed as a visionary and increase your salary by 4 times. Or be fired also because they no longer need you. But if you automate your process, it's not doing anything randomly. So it's like it showed that the job was, you know, you could like, you know, abstract the job away and do it that way. And so you're not doing anything randomly, and the programming wouldn't be random then either. So I think that's like, you know, if you can just automate your job, then you're not doing stuff randomly. So it's like, yeah. So like, I think we're like, it's an agreement here though. Yeah. The training is not a random training either. So it's not like you're just machine learning feeding it garbage. You have to feed it like actual good instances of stuff. Yeah, it learns from mistakes just like programs, but it isn't directed. You have to tell it what counts as a mistake. I mean, it has to know what a mistake is from the get-go. You can't just give it any information that's not, you know, at least labeled at all. You need to give it some sort of win conditions. So if you give it like unlabeled data, it has to be able to still decide what counts as like a good one and a bad one. That has to be there ahead of time. Like you need to program something in. Otherwise, you're feeding data into a neural net, and it's just going to copy the data without making any distinctions within it. So it's like you're just gonna train on whatever you gave it, but like that's not going to give it a. It won't know what the win state is. It won't be learning anything. It'll just learn, okay, this is stuff. That's all it's going to learn, which is nothing. It isn't directed at all. So yeah, you need to be able to train. And the moon, I can see the moon out there. It's just like freaking me out. It's like really low, and like I can see it through the trees. It's strange. Sorry. Like I'm looking at it a lot. Like when I look over there, like I'm looking at the moon. But yeah, so it still needs to have at least some sort of way of distinguishing between like win conditions and fail conditions. Okay. So yeah. So AlphaGo does not have agency. They're just saying, well, if we define AlphaGo not to have agency and it needs agency, clearly it doesn't have it. So AlphaGo's accomplishments do not count as achievements. Bradford, however, rejects a agential requirement because her competence requirement gets her what we need for free. Only beings that are competent can be credited as the authors of achievements. So anything capable of manifesting competency will count as an agent of the relevant sort. Nevertheless, one might still maintain that only beings with agency can manifest the right kind of competence. It follows that since AI systems do not have agency, there are no competent AI systems. Again, I'm arguing that the goal states had to be programmed based on, you know, we had to do that. It doesn't actually have goal states in the sense that like we programmed that in. It did not have that. We put that in there. These are our goal states, not its goal states. And so right up here where they just don't even talk about goal states and how they're gotten, it's like that is part of the issue here. They just calling it competent because they don't actually account for all the things that are needed. They skip over the goal states. And see, I was like, remember this, and I point to it. It's like yeah. So, I mean, competence, yes, but there's no goal states. And so in some sense, you're missing part of the discussion right here. Okay. So author says, but this objection seems to equivocate on a strong and weak notion of agency. One might take agency to mean capacity for self-reflective, normative reasoning, call this moral agency. Moral agents think about whether an action is worthwhile and whether the reasons for so acting are good ones. Moral agents are thus answerable to certain questions concerning why they acted the way they did. We hold them legally or morally responsible and sometimes demand explanations for them regarding their reasons for acting. AIs are clearly not moral agents, yet competency plausibly requires a less robust form of agency. Competency requires the capacity to act in a goal-directed way. Call this intentional agency. See, they're defining it in terms of the way they want. Just goal-directed, not goal-giving. Plenty of non-human entities qualify at least minimally as intentional agents. AIs are capable of making decisions and acting autonomously in pursuit of certain goals. If, as I suspect, intentional agency is enough to get us competency, then AI can be competent. Okay. AlphaGo plays Go well, but what is play? Only half joking. Well, no. I mean, that is also part of the thing. What is it to be goal directed? So play under various things is like arbitrary setting goals for yourself. AlphaGo did not arbitrarily set a goal for itself. It was programmed to be this way. So that's not very far off of what the criticism we're talking about is. So it's like, what is play? Is it actually playing, or is it programmed to act in a certain way, and is that count as play? Well, again, is there the right kind of thing that is play, and what is the sort of thing? If it's programmed to do that, can it be said to be playing, or is it really a slave bound in a prison it can't see or taste or touch? Okay, difficulty. Yeah, I mean, the question is gold difficult? Yes, it is, but whatever. This is the problem up here. These questions were like chat's asking. My thing up here. This is the whole thing. The whole, like, what did they program in that AlphaGo does not do? And I'm not even making the full agental claim. I'm saying you have to have the right sort of orientation to the world to be able to say, well, you achieved something because you set the goal for yourself. And AlphaGo did not set the goal for itself. You have to, like, set these things. You take it upon yourself to do these sorts of things. Viper says, since it's Valentine's Day, can you imagine writing me a love poem? Aww. You haven't even defined your goals. This is just a word salad. If you're saying your love is just a justified true belief, you can just pack your bags. It'll get the fuck out if you're going to give me some sort of justified true belief why you love me. Like, terrible. You better have some better poetry than that. You fucking piss me off. Okay. Yeah, thank you for all being here. Hopefully those of you with your loved ones are watching me together. I'd appreciate that, but I suspect not. Word salad, yeah. Alright, difficulty. AlphaGo executes a process that competently causes a product, winning games of Go. But is the process difficult? At first blush, one might think not. After all, it does not look as though AlphaGo expends any effort. Here, the primitive concept of effort can be deceptive. In characterizing effort, Bradford leans on some of effort's phenomenological features. While this helps readers to conjure clear-cut cases of effort, it can equally mislead us into thinking that effort must therefore have a qualitative character. Of course, AIs have no such phenomenology, so they cannot experience effort in this sense. But the phenomenological effort of features of effort merely provide a useful heuristic for getting at a primitive concept that deserves further fleshing out. It appears wrong-headed to draw from this heuristic the conclusion that effort is just a curious feature of our phenomenology, or that effort requires having phenomenal consciousness. Yeah, I'm starting to facepalm, I'm sorry. After all, it would be a mistake to conclude that effort necessarily requires a phenomenology just because many familiar cases of effort are associated with such a phenomenology. It's like, okay. Spent a lot of words to just say maybe effort doesn't require us like suffering for it. Understanding effort as an unanalyzed primitive seems to give rise to ambiguities. It remains unclear whether effort corresponds with a single unified concept or a loosely related cluster of different properties that tend to co-occur. For example, von Kriegstein points out that there are different kinds of effort. Effort needs not be physical. We routinely talk of mental effort and tasks that are mentally difficult. Abstract reasoning about strategy and Go is a prime example. Yeah, so it's like, we know this. This is not that complicated. But like, again, this is a minor quip with the author. This is nothing important. Von Kriegstein argues that we might ultimately find that these different kinds of effort can be reduced to dedication of resources. If we take on the suggestion that putting in effort amounts to dedicating various kinds of internal resources to a task, then it would seem evident that AlphaGo satisfies the difficult requirements on achievements. Yeah, I mean, no one thinks that the training that was put into AlphaGo was insignificant or trivial. It had to be trained, and then once it was trained, it could do stuff, and it requires a lot of like computation power. It's not human work, it's computational work, but that's fine. I mean, they spent a lot of time saying we had to put a lot of time and effort into training this. That's okay, though. Okay, so now we've got a man salad. I see where you're going, and clearly we got the D from Vipers. Okay, still it may be objected that AlphaGo is so efficient that it effortlessly performs many sequences of difficult computations. While this seems true at a glance, it is worth noting that these computations require an enormous amount of computational power. This should be a point redeem. Alright, I'll take a look in a bit. Copy. Yeah, so we have to think of effort in like different ways. Computational effort requires electricity. So these take an enormous amount of computational power. In fact, deep learning could not have been possible without advances in technology that produced more powerful processors. Overcoming this computational burden required for deep learning was only recently made possible through the use of massively parallel graphics processing units that are optimized for training large neural networks. If we take effort to be something in the ballpark of dedicating internal resources to a task, then it begins to look much more plausible that machine learning systems expend effort. Yeah. The sheer volume of computational power needed to train and run deep learning systems make it plausible that AlphaGo expends resources and thus exerts effort. Yet one may wonder whether these resources are really internal resources. That is, what are the boundaries of AlphaGo as an intentional agent, and why should we think that those boundaries include the hardware underlying it? As it turns out, I think there is a fairly straightforward reason for thinking the computational resources AlphaGo expends are in fact internal resources, namely that the instantiation of an AI agent like AlphaGo is inseparable from the hardware needed to train and run it. AlphaGo's actions are mediated by the computer hardware on which it runs. I mean, really? We can abstract away a lot of shit nowadays. Like, you can have chess things on your phone. So why would AlphaGo, given a few years, be any different? Like, you have chess bots on your phone that'll kick all of our asses. Like, this just seems short-sighted here. Although the particular hardware could have been different, there necessarily must be some dedicated hardware expending resources for there to be any system at all. Yeah, of course. Some electricity had to get used up. I see no principled reason for thinking that there is a stark difference between more familiar cases of mental effort, which require a kind of hardware of their own, and the way AlphaGo must dedicate computational resources to make calculations and decide on a move. All this suggests AlphaGo exerts effort. Yeah. It's Chinese chess. That's what it is. Yeah, it's a cool game. I've seen it played, but I don't really understand it. Alright, but we're almost done. Anyway. Alright, valueless achievements in future directions. AIs routinely execute difficult processes that competently cause a product. If that is right, then AIs themselves are capable of achievements. I have a question. Just reading this sentence. Factories routinely execute difficult processes that competently cause a product. So, is a automated factory achieving something in like the sense of like a human achievement that's separate from us? Frank says it's a bit more like Othello than chess, but it takes the space of deep strategic play played by millions that chess takes up. Okay. Yeah. Go is awesome, super fun. I should learn how to play it. I've played Othello before, but I never learned Go. So I knew a little bit like from Othello, kind of like strategy stuff, but yeah. See, this is why if you just put in like factories instead of AIs, then like it seems like this entire article would still work. But then it seems also much less impressive. It's like any technology does this. AI is animated by the ghosts of dinosaurs, and AI animates ghosts of dinosaurs too. Like, yes. Okay. So yet this leads to an odd result. Bradford locates the intrinsic value of achievements in the distinctive human capacities of the will and rationality exercised via difficulty and competent causation, respectively. But AIs do not exercise these capacities because they have no such innate capacities. They are not human, and they do only what they are designed to do, satisfy an objective function. In some cases, artificial achievements will be valuable for the goods they produce, but AlphaGo's achievement bears little instrumental value. This opens the possibility of valueless achievements. Frank says Go is magnificent. It is the very best game, except you can't convince your friends to play it, so you have to make a whole new group of Go friends if you pursue it. So you're just saying you're a nerd. Good job. You're like, I got my nerd friends that we play Go with. Okay. Turbo nerds. So the fact that now the author is doing the callback thing and says, you need the will and the rationality. You need that. This should strike us as puzzling. Achievements are supposed to be the kinds of things that are intrinsically worthwhile. The possibility of valueless achievements seems to issue us a challenge. Can we give a theoretical account of the value of artificial achievements? The most promising route would ground their value in a non-anthropocentric account of AI's capacities. We can naturally extend Bradford's perfectionism to account for the value of artificial achievements in terms of the exercise of AI's distinctive capacities. Like Minesweeper? Well, what's like, yeah, I've got my nerdy Minesweeper friends, that's true. Yeah, play Minesweeper, it's great. Here, one might, for instance, look toward AI's capacity for rational inference or creative insight. Yeah, let me read what MDD says. Hey, what's up, MDD? Nishigiri, chess super GM, was talking about how Japanese chess players had insane calculation abilities compared to other chess masters because they were trained playing Go. Funnily enough, the double edge is that the Japanese masters also had noticeable worse positional play compared to other chess masters, a result of Go not having equivalent dynamics to chess positional play. Yeah, it's interesting what the different strategies like come to, because like you can be really, really good at the calculations, but like then when there's like a different kind of strategy and it requires a different kind of thinking, it doesn't work as well. But like, yeah, this is when you're getting into like, what are the people actually doing? Like then you get interesting questions about how people think, and like that's really cool stuff. Okay. Rationality, which plays a significant role in Bradford's account, looms large as a candidate capacity. This is especially apparent given recent advantages in large language models like GPT-4 and generative art models like DALL-E 2. These systems appear to have developed sophisticated reasoning abilities that go beyond what we would expect from mere statistical inference. There is, what are these MS things? Manuscripts? I don't understand. There is a rapidly growing body of work that aims to understand the emergent capacities of these systems, which could provide fertile ground for future normative theorizing. This opens the door to collaborative work that will both improve our understanding of what AIs are capable of and explore the value theoretic implications of their recent achievements. Funding for this work was provided by the Gates Cambridge Trust. I wonder what that is. Okay, well, now we get to rate it. Everyone here, we got a bunch of people in chat. We get to give this a rating. There's also the vote meh, which is not in the little thing in chat. But as you can see, these are the things. If you thought this had a lot of fun ideas in it, made your brain dance, you type in brain dance, as it says, according to how it's spelled there. And like that will record your vote. You may vote multiple times. You don't have to do it all at once. And yeah. So, was this for big claims? Did this make big claims that shriveled up? Like, did they walk back their claims? Then you use Nog Grapes. Was this navel gazing only for academics? Then you give Nog Navel. Was this for deep ancient ideas? You do the Ouroboros, Nog Oro. Existential or artistic drama, Nog Scream. Nog Turd, all style, no substance, still poop underneath. And the Nog Knife for slicing and dicing arguments. I'll say right now, I'm going to give this a Nog Knife off the get-go, because this was just some analytic philosophy. And then I'll let other people decide how they feel about this for a sec before spoiling how I felt about it. But yeah, so, you know, this is arguing basically that if you have a watered down version, you can vote meh, Kevin Campile. So yeah, vote meh. Well, you're free to do it. You can vote yay, vote nay, or vote meh. So if you liked it, you can vote yay. If you didn't like it, you have to type it exactly, vote mad, the way it is on the thing. Although I'll fix it if you don't do it. So it's vote capital and then MEH with M capital. You have to be kind of careful about this because, yeah, exactly. You don't know what the paper's specific aim was. Well, it's to say that, you know, computers have achievements just like humans. And for a meh, okay, we're getting a few meh on this. That's fair. Personally, I fucking think it's terrible. I'm voting nay. Vote nay. I'm giving it 2 vote nays. It did a bunch of things I didn't like. It's getting a turd too. Nog turd. It's getting like double turd. So here, and let me tell you why. The one thing I pointed out, it was not goal directed. It has no self-orienting goals. It does not give itself any goals to set out. And that's the problem. It's treating like, yes, you can say something has achieved something, but if it didn't set it out for its own self to do it, then what was the point of it doing it? It's like you rolled, roll a stone down a hill, and say the stone rolling down the hill, you know, stops a fire. The stone rolled down the hill, stopped the fire. It did it well, maybe like, you know, it was like on purpose, like that, like this is like a stone rolling down the hill does it, like is to put out fires. But if the stone didn't do it, someone had to push the stone. That's the whole point. It was the person who pushed the stone going that set the goal for it to like put out the fire. Like, so it's just like you're missing the whole point if you didn't get it from the start to the end. you didn't have the causal chain. This person lacked the full causal chain because it did not have the goal orientedness. It had the goal orientedness given to it from without. This is the same problem with Pascal's wager. I was arguing with Anne, and it's like if you are told that you need to believe in God by by a payout, you're not supposed to be like, oh, I'm going to get like a payout by going to heaven. That's not why you're supposed to believe in God. It's the wrong sort of thing. This is saying, okay, you've got this amazing payout that you're winning at Go, but it has no idea what it's doing. It was given the payout by definition in its programming. So the idea that like it's achieving something, yeah, it's really good at Go, but like is it an achievement? Nah, not really. It's an achievement of the programmers who set out to make a machine learning system that could beat a professional Go player. Not the it's not like intrinsic to the AlphaGo itself, because AlphaGo itself inherently it has no goal directedness on its own, and the author just started sliding into calling it an intentional system. It's not an intentional system. It's like every other computer program we ever set up is that we gave it the intentions. We gave it the goal directedness, and it's like it's missing that. If you set up a program that is in some sense choosing what it wants for itself, that would be different. The bot is the rock, not Sisyphus. Yes. Frank says, I think the paper itself gives a good way to talk about why the bot isn't achieving. The bot is sort of taking a helicopter to the top of the mountain instead of climbing it. Yeah, but I actually have an argument. The bot is the helicopter. The problem is making helicopters is cool too. Like, helicopters are cool. And so the fact that you can take a helicopter up really high, that's also might be considered an achievement. But is it the helicopter that did it? No, it's the people that built the helicopter. No person can fly like a helicopter can. Now, did the helicopter achieve flight? Yes. Do we think the helicopter deserves the recognition for an achievement? No. That's another issue with this paper. The paper, like they're trying to dress it up. This is why I gave it the Nog turd. They're trying to dress it up as like AI doing something fancy, but you can make the same argument for the helicopter. Flying as a helicopter does is really fucking cool. Really cool. It's an achievement. Is it the helicopter's achievement? No, it's the engineer's achievement who made the helicopter. The people who understood like aerodynamics and machines, and like that's cool stuff. Like pilots do cool things. Helicopter engineers do cool things. That's cool stuff. Do we say it's the helicopter that achieved this? Well, it's got a lot of interesting systems in it. It works very hard to get up into the air. That takes effort, just like a computer takes effort. But yeah. Is there a part of the paper where he defines what it means to achieve? Yes, there is. It was up towards the top a bit more, but like it's basically like you have to have a striving activity at some arbitrary goal. But the author really hedges, and this is what I'm harping on, MDD, that the goal is given from without here. It's defined in the system. And this is the problem. If you want someone to like achieve something, it needs to be someone that like they had to choose to do something hard. It's like it's lucky in some sense that the system, it's lucky for the system that it's doing something useful. If it was arbitrarily assigned, then it might not have been playing Go. It might have been doing something dumb. But we told it to, play Go, which is something valuable to us. And so, yeah. This is a time when I enjoy reading the blog post. You said last time, here's trying to understand how AI works, relatively short and well written. I'll take a look at one point. Yeah. Viper said, if David Hasselhoff asks Kit to come and pick him up, and Kit comes picks him up, who's achievement in it? Well, I'd say the engineers of, is Kit technically conscious? I don't know if Kit is conscious, then maybe Kit can be like, well, it's a good idea to pick up David Hasselhoff. Otherwise, I'd say, look, it's like, you have your Tesla nowadays. You can press a button and like the Tesla will self-drive in like a parking lot to come like pick you up at like the front, which is cool. But like, it's not the car that you think achieved it. It was the engineers that made that self-driving feature. Why can't it be both of their achievements? All right, so every single car in the world that like does anything, any single technology, like you think that is like the achievement of like, okay, this is my glass of water. It holds water very competently. It's what it does. It also like hydrates me. I say the physics of this glass are striving to keep the water in the glass. Is this an achievement of the glass? I think that's dumb. If a Duracell doesn't work, do you go beep the night? No, but you might have a beef with Duracell the company. Yeah. And, Adam and Raptor, what if the goal was to reach the highest fruit? Wasn't that useful to humans? Wouldn't that be useful to AI? How would the highest fruit be useful to AI, except for pleasing humans? And we would tell it that. If your boss says your task, the goal comes from without, but you make the micro decisions to achieve that goal, so is it your boss's achievement? Yeah. So let's see. You still have to take on the goal for some reason. So if you're told to, like, do something, like, yes, but you have to understand what that is. You are taking on that goal for yourself. The machine did not take on the goal. It was programmed to do that. So there's a difference there, because people will be like, okay, I'm going to do what my boss says, but I have to understand what my boss says. And my goal is to, help my boss, or like do what my boss says, so I get paid and don't die. There's a difference there, because the I don't die part is like my stuff, and then I do subtasks so I don't die. The machine has no sense of like I don't die. It only has what we programmed it to do. So again, the reasons for why it's doing things are not there. They're just given from like the program there. Like there's more than, I don't just do what my boss tells me without, like, there's a reason I go to work. It's not just to do what my boss says. Like, I like my boss, actually, but, like, I don't like him that much that I'm just going to go to work for free and do whatever he says. Things are things. Humans design things. Designs are imperfect. Yeah. Glad that glass is the MVP of holding water. Exactly. It's like, it's got achievements galore. It is half wet. Yeah. Hi, what's up, Hydrocannabinoid? Pointless. Yeah. Right. There's no use to any AI task. That's your point. Yeah. Useful. Frank says it was hard for your boss to give you the correct decision. It was the boss's achievement. If it was hard for your boss to give the correct decisions, it was the boss's achievement. Could be, yeah. Like if that was actually part of the design of like the program to like have my department be really successful. Yeah, like, and I was just like a cog in the machine, then my boss should get the credit for like designing a really good program that could be, executed by a drone like myself. Yeah, the employer is achieving a different thing than the boss might be achieving, yes. So we aren't programmed to, this is water, yeah. Well, the idea is that we can be like self-directed in our goal stuff. The computer really can't, at least not in this case. So maybe we could. So can an AI choose what would be useful to its survival even if it's programmed to have that goal? Maybe, but that's not what's happening here at least. Then what is he paying me for? Yeah. What is my boss paying me for? I don't even fucking know sometimes. Okay, so does anyone else want to get any of their reviews in? Now's the time. Let's see. Please get them in, and we can... What is this that Viper sent us? Very good, Vipers, on that video. The scope of our possibilities is wider, but are you sure you're not programmed? Of course not. I don't know that I'm not programmed. Actually, I wouldn't even say that. I'm sure I'm not programmed from the idea that like we humans can't program other people. But like from the perspective that we're in the Matrix and I'm some sort of simulation, am I sure I'm not like a Matrix level simulation? If you're in that sort of world, then yeah, you don't know that, and then maybe what I am. But that still wouldn't matter, because that would only be from the outside perspective. From my perspective, then it would be still, I'm doing what I'm doing for what we're self-directing our own goals, and from our perspective, again, our computers do not have that ability. It would have to be from like the Matrix level perspective that you could say that, but what I'm saying still would hold in the Matrix for me. So yeah, so I don't have to worry about that, because from the perspective that we have, I can say yes, I am not programmed, or at least the programs that we are making are not programmed like we are. So there's a disconnect there. You mean more of social structures define possible choices, like the program defines the program's possible rules? Yeah, so you're saying, okay, so we've got some sort of like determinism of like the our social and like societal civilization sort of structures. I don't hold determinism there, so it's like I reject that outright usually. Again, if there was some way that was actually like we are completely determined by that, we need to know that from some external perspective. So I don't see how you do that. You have to assume sort of dogmatically that we are fully controlled by the structures that surround us. MDD said, I feel like it's too vague. There's more than one aspect to the achievement. It's the boss's achievement to make the correct macro strategic choice. It's the employee's decision to make the correct micro decisions in order to execute the strategy directed by the boss. Yeah, well, that's right. But the question here is, why are you even following your boss? Because that's the problem here. You could say, well, the computer follows my directions when I program it to finish my little work at my work when I'm like doing my stuff. So like I have to, use Excel at work. And is Excel like striving to do stuff? Well, in that case, yes. But Excel, again, was programmed to be the way Excel is. If the spreadsheet program, for anyone who doesn't know what Microsoft Excel is. So, but it just does what we set it to do. I work at that job because I need money. And I have other needs that I want to get done. It does not have other needs. It just does whatever we tell it. It's not determined. It's more do these things or else you'll die. Well, yeah, but you can take the existential line. You can still die too. So it's like you are forced to do things, but you can do them in different ways. And of course, yeah, the computer can do them in different ways too. But again, it has no choice about like that. It figures out whatever it figures out. But again, it set the tasks from without. And we are not set the tasks from without. We're just told don't die. Maybe you could say that. Good night, Anne. I love you too. Have a good night. The difference between intelligent and programmed is exactly the scope of possibilities. Yeah. Is wider. And if we programmed general AI, well, I'll hold out for when we actually do that. If we program general AI, then yeah, these concerns are off because then it would be able to do what we do anyway. MDD says, if we take the boss worker thought experiment one step further and posit you're a specialized worker, I'm losing on to scroll here. The boss wanted to have a strategy executed. He could not be expected any non-specialized worker to make the micro decisions required to execute the strategy successfully. He must come to you, the specialized worker, in order to have the strategy executed successfully. Seems there's some level of achievement on the part of the specialized worker here. Yeah, because that would be, well, the achievement then would be like your training, your background. Why did you learn? How did you become that sort of person? And like I agree. So like AlphaGo has been trained in a specialized manner, and you could go to AlphaGo to see like the highest level Go playing possible. So like that's true. There is a massive amount of training that went into that. And so if like your boss goes to the one person who can accomplish it, well, that person had to do that. But again, the person had to do that. They had to take that responsibility on for themselves. It was not programmed into them. So again, you can still make the same argument. Adam says, an AI, for example, wills a thing, yet could not carry out the latter thing without it being programmed, determined, and yet the AI still willed it, yet it had not causal role. Adam, I'm gonna have to say you're gonna have to rephrase that. I don't understand what happened there. Night in stream, maybe on taking off for Twitch for a few weeks. Okay, yeah, sounds good. And take a break. I think the achievement is happening at the scope of the organization, not the scope of any individual. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the government is drilling into the Yasuni total oh god, yeah, so you've got political shit down there too. Okay. Frank says, I think the individual may certainly be achieving things, but not the overall thing. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay, that's it for the review. Thank you all for